eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you...
Welcome back to episode 15 of the Football Experience. We're back. It's just us two this time. No guest. Yeah. So let's get straight into the previews. So the first one's West Ham versus Leicester. What do you think the score is going to be for this, Lou?
I think the score is going to be 2-1 to West Ham. What I've gone with. I think, just before this, obviously Rice was called out injured. They will miss him, but I think, they've got Souček. They've got a lot of people in good form. Lingard, all of them. They've got a really good squad at the moment. They're on good form. They're currently battling for Champions League places.
Yeah.
Whether that's going to be the case the whole time, I don't know. But, I know Leicester are obviously as well. But I think West Ham are going to have too much for a, slightly injured Leicester side. They've still got the likes of Barnes and Maddison out, I believe. Which I think will be a big miss for them.
Yeah, because I put 3-2 for West Ham as well for this one. But these are both very good teams at the moment as well. But yeah, West Ham, it'll be interesting to see if they do finish in the top four. Because it's looking like they'll at least get Europa League at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the battle seems to be between, is everywhere from 3rd to 6th, I think. Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea and Liverpool. That seems to be the battle right now. I think West Ham have to play against a few of those teams before the end of the season. Obviously, Leicester being one of them. But I think we have to play them as well, Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's going to be it. They're going to be the important games for them.
Yeah.
To try and push on higher than Europa League.
Yeah, because obviously West Ham are going to be playing Wolves tonight as well. So it'll be heavily dependent on the score of that as well.
Obviously, that will probably have happened by the time this goes up.
Yeah, but if it has happened before, I'll put something in there just to say. Cool. In the Wolves game, Antonio nearly scores in the first 3 minutes. And then Lingard had an amazing run, then slots it in. That was just showing his quality, really. Then West Ham scored a second to make it 2-0 by 4-0. Sorry for the pronunciation, probably wrong. Then Jared Bowen scores to make it 3-0. And then Wolves scored to make it 3-1 by Den Donker. Then Fabio Silva scored to make it 3-2. But let's move on to Spurs versus United. One thing I will say about that is this isn't a reaction we're doing, but Newcastle Spurs was a 2-2 draw. Spurs, seeing them, I don't know if you saw the Mourinho interview after, when he was asked about what was going on, and he says if he was still a good manager, and then he goes same manager, different players. So he's basically blaming it all on the players, classic Mourinho style.
I mean, yeah, he tends to do that. But you're looking at a team. I get what he means about the players. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's necessarily something he can blame, because he did actually have a window where he got to go and sign players that he wanted, and I don't think he signed players in the right positions. Don't get me wrong, Bale coming in, and for a while it wasn't looking like it was too great of a deal for them, but he's improved. He's been playing better more recently. But I think defensively they're just a bit weak. I think they've got an okay centre-back partnership. They've still got people like Eric Dyer in there. Like for a side, if you want to push from where they are to Champions League football, Eric Dyer can't be in there.
Yeah, I don't really like it when he plays for England, if I'm honest, Eric Dyer. He's got players like Son and Kane and that, so him complaining about the players he's got, I don't really understand.
No, he's got arguably the best striker in the world. Maybe never, but he's up there at the very least.
Yeah, it's at least a debate.
One of the better wingers in the Premier League at the very least. Again, you know, this is at the very least. But Ndombele, he's class as well. You know, you look at players and you know he gives them so much praise on the news. Say, oh, these players are doing so well. What as soon as he loses, he turns against them again. And
yeah. And it's not like he would have known when he went to Tottenham. He's not going to have the same funding as they do at, you know, United and the other teams. So it's just, I don't know. Do you think he'll stay at the end of the season, Mourinho?
I have a feeling he might not stay purely because I think if Kane leaves, he knows that team is just going to landslide. They're not going, even if they bring in a lot of money from him, they're not going to spend it all on anyone anywhere near the level of Kane, because there are barely any players that can be at that level. But I think he'll realise they're going to go into landslide. He does this a lot, and he knows when it's going to happen, like when it's really going to go badly, and he has to get out before that happens. Then it's not his fault. So.
Do you think if he doesn't leave, do you think they would get rid of him? Or
I don't know. I don't necessarily think they'd want to sack him because they know what he can do as a manager. But I'm not sure whether they realise, you know, what they're getting into with Mourinho. You know, there's a reason that he doesn't stay at clubs for more than a season.
Yeah.
And like most of the time with those clubs, he's, you know, first season he's managed to, you know, really do well in the first season, then move on, and struggle in the second. But I just don't think he's really got I think the game's changed too much for him, his style of the way he wants things to work anymore.
Yeah. I've gone for a 3-1 United win for me.
I've gone 1-0 United. I think you know, United don't like attacking against top. I know technically they're not a top 6 right now, but they are one of the top 6. You know, the usuals. But United don't tend to score many goals against the top 6 teams. You know, they've I think it's been 0-0 in about 6 of the 8 games or something against them, and you know, I can't see this one being too different. I think United will win it, but I don't think it will be by a big margin.
Yeah, well, I've gone for a high-scoring one for me just because of just how good United's attack has been recently. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's a low-scoring game, just because of how Spurs are playing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've both got great attacking talent, but I can't see it being a bit of a smash and grab game, you know, each team. End to end, but somehow it'll still be low scoring, in my opinion. But
alright, so let's move on to the Sheffield United versus Arsenal. I've gone for a 1-0 to Arsenal, just because I don't feel like Sheffield United are good enough to be winning in this game, but I don't think Arsenal have been good enough to be dominating them, so that's why I've just gone for a small score. What's your one?
I've gone 2-0, so similar sort of situation. I don't. Arsenal have a couple of who have been more important players recently injured. You know, Saka didn't play the last one. Against Liverpool. You know, their big players aren't really performing every week at the moment. People like Aubameyang. But
yeah, he was in the Liverpool game. It was like he was playing more left back.
Yeah, he just doesn't. He doesn't seem to be the same player anymore.
No.
He's not. You know, he used to be just such a clinical finisher, and he'd always just be in the right position at the right time. But
yeah, it's almost Have you seen Arteta's record? And I think it's like in the last 50 games or something. It's worse than Wenger and Emery's.
Oh really? Yeah. I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all, to be honest. You know, Arsenal fans for a long time, they were calling for change with Wenger because they're upset that he was only getting top 4. But I mean, nowadays you'd probably think that they'd love to have him back and just get more again. But I can't see that happening realistically for a few seasons, because I don't think they're willing to put the money into the type of players they need to take that step up again.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting just to see how it's kind of gone for them in the last few years, because they seem to just be dropping quality each year, and it's hard to tell what it is, because it must be something to do with the club internally.
I mean, who have they brought in? They brought in Odegaard, they brought in Partey. 2 players that they thought were going to sort of change their fortunes, and they were going, and they haven't been bad or anything. They've been some of their better players actually. But the only positive thing for them that I can see is people like Saka, people like Smith Rowe coming through from at a young age. That's who they're going to be hoping sort of takes over their team going forward. But I mean, if they stay like this, they're not going to be there either.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I can't see Saka staying there with his talent if they're just going to be dropping off and maybe not even getting into the top 8, if not that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see him going this season or anything. But
no,
I think
next year,
he'll give it a little bit of time just to establish himself, really. And then if they're not at his level, then he really should step up.
Yeah. The next game we're going to talk about is West Brom versus Saints. I've gone for a bit of a hopeful one. I've gone 3-2 Saints.
I've gone with 1-1. I think it'll be a bit of a boring game. It's they're a tough team to break down.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, against who did you play? You played Burnley, against who are a similar team to play against. To be fair.
Yeah.
You played well, but a couple of fortunate things that happened and could have gone the other way. But I think it'll be a close one. 1-1.
There's not really much else to say for that game, if I'm honest. It's not really a very exciting game to talk about.
Yeah, it's difficult really, because you can't. You're looking at a team that's down there. Really, Burnley. They're not. I don't think they're going down.
No.
I can't remember where they are, if I'm honest.
Who? Burnley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're close, but I don't think they are going down. I think West Brom will be interesting. Do you think West Brom will go down? Do you think? Because
they're definitely down.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's easy. They had a great game the other day, but against a 10-man team.
Yeah. Is it possible for them to stay up? I can't.
It is definitely statistically possible, but
it
would take quite a lot for both Fulham and Brighton. Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so for both Fulham and Brighton to go down, I might be saying the completely wrong team in Brighton, but definitely Fulham.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
City Leeds.
City Leeds. Leeds obviously came off a good result against Sheffield. It's one of those sort of games where they dominated it, but they really should have probably scored more. And realistically, playing against Man City, I can see them scoring against them. I think it'll be a 3-1 City.
Really? I've literally written 3-1 there as well. I don't know if you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Leeds aren't doing terrible in the league, but I just can't see them. I think City are so good at the moment. I just can't see them beating them.
You can't really see many teams taking points off them at this stage.
Yeah.
Where even though they don't necessarily need them anymore. Maybe towards the end, like Liverpool did, they could drop points if they, get a bit. That they don't concentrate as much when they've officially won it or whatever. But I can't see whilst they still technically need the points. I think they'll just keep on going as they are.
Yeah, City just seem to be taking over. No, Liverpool versus Aston Villa.
Again, difficult one really. Obviously, don't really know about Villa because I know Grealish. There's a small chance he might be injured still, and
that's what. Yeah,
if he's not there, I can't see them challenging it.
Yeah, that's why it's a hard one to predict for this one, because without knowing whether he'll play or not, like the predictions are completely different. Because he is kind of he's without hitting in the Aston Villa team, it's almost like they play with 10 men without him.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same. But what scoreline have you gone for?
I've gone for, I don't know, because I've written mine down, but mine's if Grealish does play, which is just it's 1-0 Liverpool, because I think it's 3-0 Liverpool if he doesn't play. If he does play, it's 2-1 Liverpool. So I still think Liverpool will win, but at the same time, I think Grealish would contribute or score against them.
Yeah, I've gone 2-1 actually. I haven't, I've just sort of taken the guess that he might play because I know he was only doubtful for the last game even, and he didn't end up playing in that one. But I can see, it wouldn't surprise me if he came back for this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll want to play this even if he's not 100% fit. I can see him trying to still play in this game.
Yeah, but obviously, playing against a Liverpool team who really were a bit lackluster up until now. Struggling, but Jota seems to bring what they've been missing. Even Mane and Salah are supposed to be their two main players right now, and they're not really. Yeah. To be honest, Salah got his goal the other day, but I don't think he would have been able to get through as easily if they weren't already winning from the Jota goal.
Yeah. So for the next prediction, it's Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. What's your prediction for this game?
I've gone 2-0.
Okay.
I'm back them, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think obviously Silva won't be playing the next one.
Yeah, because of the red card.
Yeah, so it'll be back to the team that really, really was, getting to be a solid back line. And I think we'll come out and we really need to prove something. There's been problems in training apparently after the game with a couple of people. Although the main problem apparently was with Rudiger and Kepa, and neither played. So I don't think it's related necessarily. Obviously going to come out and say, "Oh, they're fighting because of this game," but it's a good story to write. Yeah, really. Like you got to get it somehow. So
yeah.
But yeah, what have you gone?
I've gone 2-1 Chelsea. Because I think you will win this game, but because of the last game, I think you're not going to be at 100%. I think you'll just be trying to find yourself again. But I do think you will still beat Crystal Palace.
It would be interesting actually, because we've got another game before then, obviously.
What's the game before?
Porto.
Oh yeah.
On Wednesday night. And that's the thing. Like as bad as the result was the other day, if we go and win against Porto, none of us will care anymore. So it's a difficult one, really. We'll everything's going to go into those two Porto games over the next few weeks, whenever they are, and the couple of Prem games are probably going to be second to us, really.
Do you want to do a quick prediction for the Porto game?
Yeah. Obviously, it's a difficult one to predict because Porto are a difficult team to, I don't know too much about them, to be honest. Obviously, they did well against Juventus and they really played well, but I think, that they seem to be free scoring against that Juventus defence, which, seem to struggle to keep up with them. And I think, defensively, apart from obviously the last game, we've been quite solid recently. And Christensen will probably come back in. And with those, I think what we were really missing in that last game, when we obviously lost the man, was we didn't have sort of the same format of getting up the pitch. And we, a man down can be a lot to a system if that's what it relies on, everyone doing their job. And I think we can beat them. I think the first leg, it won't be a high scoring or anything. I'm going to go 1-0 again.
Okay. Who's I can't really remember who Porto have. Do they have like a star player or?
I mean, in the last game it was probably Pepe.
Okay, yeah.
He's obviously, he's quite
old.
How
old is he? Yeah, he's like 30.
Exactly how old he is, probably 35.
Yeah.
But he's still quite solid, to be fair to him.
I guess if you're a centre back as well, you can be like a top class player for longer.
Definitely, that as a winger or something, you need to keep your speed, your technical skills and stuff. But centre back, you can get away with playing at a decent level. Till as long as you keep your fitness and stuff up.
Yeah. Okay. That'll be a good clip for TikTok.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the reactions. Leicester Man City, that was a 2-0 to City. It's the free kick at the start when De Bruyne hits the crossbar. That would have been so nice, I went in.
Yeah, it was just sort of a perfect strike, really.
Yeah.
And it's I don't think Leicester really proved much of a problem for Man City. I think maybe with Barnes and Maddison, as I've said a few times already, I think it could have, they could have caused them a few problems at least. But
yeah, and then Mendy kills one in. You don't really expect from Mendy, but it's like he did a dummy as well before.
Yeah, I know it was such a well finished goal, really.
Yeah,
especially for a left back who hasn't played in. Hasn't been properly playing in the team. He's been dropped most weeks for Zinchenko. So
yeah, considering how he must have been there for a few years now, and he hasn't really played much due to injury and this season's
50 million. Who's when he has played, he hasn't really performed very well either. So,
but I feel like a Man City 50 million's of it.
Yeah, Man City 50. Any other team 10 million.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then Jesus scored kind of like a sweaty goal.
Yeah, it was from Sterling though. It's a bit. I know it went in the end, so you can't say, well, it's still a goal. But
yeah,
he could have just scored it straight away, and I think any natural striker would have just shot that. But he went, the ball came across to him, and he had an open goal, and he held it up and passed it back across. It seemed a bit unnecessary.
Yeah, I feel like because it was like he passed it across and then Sterling kind of messed it up, so he had to pass it back. But it was a well taken finish, I guess, from Jesus.
Yeah. The goal went in, so it's what it is.
It's kind of what you expect from City at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to the Arsenal-Liverpool game. So that was a 3-0 win for Liverpool. Salah scored, I think it was Salah's 150th appearance in the Premier League and his 93rd goal.
Oh, wow. Good record. Obviously, first half was, poor from both teams, really.
Yeah.
Very poor. As I was saying in the preview, Jota came on and he made the difference. Realistically looking at that game, I was impressed. Obviously, Arnold, with his absence from the England team, he had something to prove, and he came out and he played really well. He didn't get involved that much in the first half. No one really did, to be fair. But his cross for the first Jota goal was perfect.
Yeah, that's a great header, great cross. He was probably one of the. I'd say from that game, he was the best player. because he kind of pushed Aubameyang back. Like,
yeah, you could argue him definitely. I think the difference maker in that game obviously was Jota. I think he, as soon as he came on the pitch for, I think it was Firmino, the tempo just went up so much higher, and it just it put Arsenal on the back foot, and instantly Liverpool just seemed to look really dangerous again, which they haven't to this level for a while.
Yeah, Jota scored as well to make it 3 because he scored the first and then he scored the third. Like, he's just, because when he got brought in, I assume he wasn't meant to be a starting player when he first got brought in. It's almost like he was a player who would be a sub every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at it, he was playing left balls mostly.
Yeah.
Looking at it as like, well, they've got Mane. Why? Like, why have they done that? But I mean, half the time he's come in and played up front for them.
Yeah.
Firmino. So it was a good acquisition for them. In the end.
Yeah, he's such a good player. But to be fair, he is kind of annoying me on my Football Manager save. I guess the real question is, we've spoken about this a bit already, but it's about like everything going wrong with Arsenal was the main highlight from that game, because they just seem so bad. You don't expect this from an Arsenal team. Like,
I think it's difficult because, I mean, looking at Arsenal, I think we've already actually spoken this season once about how the problems with Arsenal. They went on a little bit of a good run, and then it just went back again. I don't think it's necessarily Arteta's fault, but I think if this manager wasn't Arteta on this run in the position they're in, I think it would be a whole different story to their reaction to it.
Yeah, I remember listening to the pundits, and I think Micah Richards he said, when you think of Arsenal, you think of like all the great teams, and this isn't. This team is just like so bad at the moment, but I feel like they should keep Arteta, just finish the contract.
Yeah.
It should.
Yeah, see if they can change some things in the summer, but I mean the issue they've got now is their main player is Aubameyang, and he's on a few-year contract. Arsenal do that. They're very stupid with money and contracts. As much as at the time I didn't want to lose Willian to Arsenal, that we weren't willing to give him 2 years because he may not last 2 years. It's a stupid thing to do, realistically. Even if he did really well, it would still be a stupid decision to have given him that contract. Because when they're at that age, Aubameyang's been given essentially a contract till the end of his career now, if he wants it.
Yeah.
What motivation does he have to keep playing now?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it just doesn't really make sense why they don't seem to be very clever with these contracts, which I just don't understand.
No, I'm not sure what's going on really, but I don't think necessarily Arteta's had much say in the sort of people he's brought in. But I think they do need to sort out that contract side, because a lot of their money is going on to these people. They're paying Willian like 200 grand a week or something, which is more than he was getting at Chelsea, and he's got 2 years. We were only going to give him 1 year because that's the sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, of a player that age, that's all you can give them. That's why loads of people have left us in the past, because Chelsea are willing to give contracts to people that are 32 years old to play for another 2 years. Like, it's just, I don't get how they can seriously think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Southampton versus Burnley game. It didn't start off in the best way with the penalty. At the time, I'm not gonna lie, I said it wasn't a pen, But when you watch, when you watch it back, you know it is, but you always say it isn't because it's your team.
He completely missed the tackle, didn't he? Really?
Yeah, he just.
But,
I don't know if it was like an anger thing or it's just missed the tackle, but
yeah. Either way, it happened, and he's still been good, Walker Peters, for you. So it's not something. It was him that gave it away, right?
Yeah, because he got like kind of pulled back, but there wasn't like enough on it to be a foul on him, to be honest. And then he just like went through his leg, basically took his legs down.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think about the actual penalty, like the how it was taken? Do you think Forster should have saved it, or?
No, I think a lot of those sort of players are clever with how they take penalties.
Yeah.
If you hit it hard, you've got more of a chance to score. Like no matter where it goes, that sort of penalty is the one that Lampard used to take every time he took one. Like, hit it high and he hit it slightly to the side, and you could say maybe he should have saved it, but I personally wouldn't blame Forster at all. It's a penalty.
I thought it was a great one. Yeah.
Like you could dive low, you could dive high, and it's difficult. I don't think you can ever really blame a keeper for a penalty, especially if they don't even get a hand to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of, and the I don't know how to say his name. Is it Vidra?
Vidra, I think.
Yeah, his goal was such a good goal.
Yeah, it was a good strike.
It was hard to get annoyed at it because it was such a good strike. Like, it was just a brilliant half volley.
He's a weird player. He does nothing for about 10 games, and then he'll just score a good goal randomly.
Yeah.
But like, he spends too much time doing nothing to be a good player, really.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with how Saints were able to get back into the game as well.
Yeah.
Because earlier on, because Armstrong, that goal was a great goal. The Ings goal was a decent one, and the Redmond one was also a good goal.
Yeah, Ings' goal was good. The only thing I would say is very poor defending from Burnley as well.
They surprised by Burnley as well because you expect their defending to be better.
They just sort of let him almost take it off them, and he just got through so easily. Maybe it's just that he, outdid them, but it just looked like it was too easy for him. but
yeah,
so did. So.
Yeah, but again, they are young, so you don't.
Oh yeah, I don't really give a shit about that.
Yeah, I honestly don't care.
I don't see why he hasn't been given a chance. To be honest, I think you're looking at the strikers that have been given a chance. I do see why he hasn't been given a chance, because even United aren't giving him that chance to play up front. But I think he could. I think if he's given the rest of the season up top, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he got like one of those last striker spots for the Euros.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, especially if they do increase the size of the squad, like we were speaking about last week. So let's move on to the player of the week. Who have you selected this week?
So I've gone for someone mainly because of, I think, the impact they had on the game. He only actually played half the game.
Okay.
Makes it a difficult one, but I've gone with Jota.
I went with Arnold.
Yeah.
Just because personally, just seeing how he played and how he kind of forced Aubameyang to not be able to get into the game. But I think Jota is also a good shout, if I'm honest. I feel like it had to be a Liverpool player.
Yeah, you could argue a West Brom player as well, but
yeah, maybe.
But from watching Liverpool, I think they beat a very good side, and they didn't really let them in the game. And I think Jota came on and he made that difference, and so did Arnold when he was there. So I think both good shouts, Rod.
So let's move on to, we're going to do a preview because Real Madrid are playing Barcelona. So good for El Clásico one. What score have you put yourself?
I've gone with 2-1 Barcelona.
I've gone for a bit of a bigger score.
Oh, really?
Mine's a 4-3.
4-3? Okay.
Barcelona, I've gone.
I think it's a difficult one. I don't regularly watch the Spanish league, so it's hard to put a prediction on it. But with both of their positions, they're both up there, but Atletico are still leading the league. And
yeah.
None of them have got any European football to worry about anymore. Sorry, no, Real Madrid do. Well, I'm lying. Real Madrid have got Liverpool.
Oh yeah, I don't know what.
Tuesday. But I think I personally think Barca will win it, but I don't know too much to go into too much detail on it.
Yeah, I think I've kind of got, just by looking at some of their past scores, I haven't really seen an awful lot, but Barcelona are scoring a lot. Like, they played against Real Sociedad, and I think they won 6-1.
Oh, really?
So it's like I know you hear a lot of people saying how Barcelona aren't great, but if I've just got the table here, they've played 28 games and got 62 points. Atletico at the top with 66 points, and they've played 29 games.
Oh,
so they're not that. They're only, if they win their next game in hand, they're only really one point behind the league.
Yeah, I know. Atletico have struggled again more recently.
Yeah.
So makes it a bit more even again. But yeah, I think as much as I think Atletico are a decent team, from watching them against Chelsea, obviously they didn't really show much. I do think Real Madrid or Barca will somehow come through and win it.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can see it being a close game because they are both playing really well at the moment. Yeah, so let's go into, we've made a combined team of Barcelona and Real Madrid. We've tried to go with players who are fit. So apologies if any of them aren't, but we're pretty sure these all are. So let's start off with the formation. What formation have you gone for, Louis?
Gone for technically a 4-4-2.
All right, I've gone 4-3-3.
Okay.
Let's start off in goal. I've gone for Ter Stegen. Who have you gone?
I've gone for Courtois. I was looking between them, and obviously, as I said before, I don't watch it much, so I looked into statistically. Courtois' save percentage and clean sheets are both higher. It literally the reason I went for him.
Yeah, I can see Real Madrid have conceded 23, and Barcelona have conceded 24. So
fairly even, yeah.
It's one of those which it's not like a a big difference. But let's go on to the defence. So my left back I've gone with is Jordi Alba. I've gone with De Jong, Varane in the central, and Dest at right back. What's your defence?
I've gone with Dest as well. I've gone with Lenglet, Militao, and Marcelo.
Okay.
They're a bit different, I think Alba is probably better than Marcelo these days, but from looking at the past, I loved watching Marcelo play.
Yeah.
Pretty much why I've gone for him.
5-star skill moves on FIFA, right?
Exactly. Centre back wise, I wasn't sure. I know De Jong's been playing there more recently. I wasn't sure whether he should count in defence or.
Yeah, well, I only put him there because that's where he seems to be playing at the moment. But yeah, I'll move on to the midfield. So I've got 3 midfielders. So I went with Busquets just because he's quite a solid player. Asensio and Modric.
Okay. I've gone with Modric, Casemiro as my 2 centre mids.
Okay.
I know they're not technically right mid, left mid. They're more wingers. So it's more 4-2-4 almost. But
okay.
I've gone with Messi and Hazard.
Okay. To be fair, yeah.
Because I wanted to fit in 2 strikers. And so I thought, put Messi right mid. Hazard technically I think he's doubtful for the game, but he's not actually definitely unfit for it. So.
Okay. Who are your 2 strikers?
Griezmann and Benzema.
Okay, because my front 3 is Messi on the right, Benzema, and then I've just put Griezmann on the left because I want to fit him in, even though he's more of a striker at the moment. But yeah, I think they're both quite solid teams, to be honest.
Yeah, we've got a little bit different here and there, but same sort of areas on things really.
Who have you gone for as your manager?
I don't even know who the Barcelona manager is, if I'm honest.
It's Koeman, isn't it?
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, even after hearing it, I definitely wouldn't choose Zidane.
Yeah, I've got Zidane as well.
And for Real Madrid, he's definitely underrated in my opinion. He won them. I know more recently he hasn't been as good, but he won them Champions League and the league whilst he was here. So.
Yeah, the thing is, I would say Koeman isn't great, but I guess he could still win a league, but yeah, I think overall he's probably not been great.
I'd choose Zidane because of what he's currently already done. But
yeah,
fair play if you choose Koeman.
So let's move on to the fantasy football section. I think we forgot to speak about this last week, so we'll talk about it this week. So I've added 2 players because I haven't done it in the past couple of weeks, I think. So I put Iheanacho and I put Jota in because Liverpool are playing Aston Villa. Jota might get one, maybe. Yeah,
without Brudish, that they could go away with it. Looking at who was Iheanacho. Who are they playing? They're playing West Ham. It could be a tough one actually.
I mainly got him because I think I had like 10 million, and I decided to get rid of like a 4 million player, get Iheanacho because he's only worth 5 million, and then I had a bit more to spend.
I haven't actually made my changes as of yet because I'm gonna wait for I usually wait till the day before. Try and make sure that people don't get injured between now and then.
You got any ideas of players you might do?
I'm looking at the games like I love putting, Man City v Leeds. It looks like a game that you could put people in, but I'm just too scared to put Man City players in because half of them, they could be playing their best football ever and they could still just get benched. So it's difficult. I'd probably say I'll probably go with Jota. Now I'm 100% back and fit and everything. Playing against Villa, who they are very strong defensively, and they have been this season. I'll have to have a look at it because I can't even remember who I put in last week. I made like 3-4 changes last week.
Is there anything else you want us to talk about?
No, I mean, we could do a pretty quick prediction for Liverpool, Real Madrid.
Yeah, let's do that.
I believe tomorrow, as in Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think that'll be an interesting one, actually, seeing Liverpool play against a team that aren't necessarily on their best either. I'd go for 2-2 first leg.
Yeah, I went 1-1.
1-1, okay.
I think it'll be a close game, but I don't think it's going to be a ridiculous amount of goals.
Yeah.
They're both solid sides at the moment. From recent form, I think they are. But it will be an interesting game to see.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. Do you think? Who do you think will win, like overall, for them?
I think Liverpool will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think they will. Real Madrid are without Ramos, which I think will be a big miss for them.
Yeah. To be fair, I think you're probably right there, because I think overall Liverpool will win. But do you think it'll go into like extra time or penalties, or do you think second leg?
I think they'll win it by maybe 1 goal in normal time. That's my guess. I said 2-2 for the first one, so maybe a 2-1 in the second one.
Are they home or away? Do you know, for the first leg?
I don't know, but I think it's being played on neutral ground now.
So does that mean the away goal rule doesn't exist?
No, it does exist. It's just a bit.
Oh, it seems pointless.
It's really annoying for anyone who plays home in the first leg, because then in the second leg, if they go to extra time, they get away goals count still. Which any sense to me.
Yeah, it's kind of just a pointless rule without fans anyway. It's just like, I don't know.
We're playing our game against Porto at the Sevilla Stadium, I think.
Okay.
So,
is that like halfway between Portugal and England or something? I don't think so, but
that's what I think. They're chosen to play it there. Giroud likes that ground. He scored 4 there last time.
Yeah.
So,
he should just have it at St Mary's. He scores a lot there.
Exactly. So who knows?
Yeah, that's the Football Experience podcast. If you enjoyed, just give it a like, subscribe, and yeah, we'll be back again next week. This may come out a day after the last podcast, but
fuck it.
Just what we do. See you next time. Thank you for listening to Football Experience. We also have social medias you can follow. Our TikTok is at the Football Experience. Twitter is the Football Experience XP. The Instagram is v.footballexperience. We're also on many different podcast platforms. We're on YouTube, Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocketcasts, RadioPublic as well. We also have a website which is thefootballexperiences.co.uk. So it's got an S on the end. And yeah, thank you for listening and all the support. If you can leave us any reviews or anything, that would be great. Reviews on Apple are so useful. And yeah, thank you for all the support.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust.